Welcome to episode 0 of the Elevated Dose podcast with Carrie. This podcast is based on my personal experience as a patient. I'm not a doctor, and nothing shared here should be taken as medical advice. Always talk to your healthcare provider before making any changes to your medications, nutrition, exercise, or health plan. I'm Carrie, and I'm living proof that it's never too late to take back control of your health, your body, and your future. For years, I felt stuck. Diet after diet, plan after plan. Nothing ever clicked. And then something finally did. For me, that tool was a GLP-1, Mounjaro to be specific. But this podcast, it's not about a prescription. It's about what happens when you finally have the freedom to focus on living again instead of just surviving. For years, my story sounded like a lot of yours might. I tried everything. Weight Watchers, metformin, statins, crash diets, gym memberships that I sometimes used to obsession and sometimes never used. Nothing stuck, and I carried not just that weight, but the shame, the frustration, the feeling that maybe I just wasn't trying hard enough. Or I was a failure. Why couldn't I just be strong enough? On top of that, I was dealing with real medical trauma. PCOS, insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes, even a heart attack at 28. And through all of it, I was told the same thing over and over again. You need to lose the weight. Eat less, move more. How much are you exercising? Well, you're just going to have to cut back. If you've ever been gaslit by a doctor or dismissed because of your weight, you already know how heavy all of that feels. Then something shifted. I had already been on 2 GLP-1s, and then Mounjaro happened. And for the first time, I didn't feel broken. I didn't feel like my body was fighting me every second of the day. The food noise got quiet. My blood sugar started stabilizing. I could actually imagine a future that wasn't ruled by food, guilt, shame, or exhaustion. This wasn't about chasing skinny. It was about finally having the space to focus on living instead of just trying to survive. I want to share something that's been a game changer for me. I'm a patient and an advocate with Fridays, a telehealth that makes access to GLP-1 care straightforward and supportive. They don't just write a prescription, they pair it with coaching, nutrition support, and real guidance so you're not left on your own. If you've been curious about starting, check out joinfridays.com and use my code Carrie. I realized really quickly, nobody hands you a manual for this journey. You get a prescription, maybe you got a pamphlet. Did your doctor give you any nutrition tips? Mine didn't. And then you're left Googling side effects at 2 a.m. or trying to piece together advice from random Facebook groups, TikTok videos, or live chats if you stumble upon someone who's sharing their story. That's why I'm starting this podcast, to create the resource I wish I had when I started. A place where you can hear the real talk about side effects, plateaus, maintenance, and the mental game that comes with this. We'll talk about the science, but in plain English that makes sense. We'll cover the emotional side that nobody prepares you for, and we'll talk about what happens after weight loss, when the scale stops moving and you stop getting those dopamine hits, but life keeps going. This isn't just about a medication. It's about taking back control of your health, your story, your future. GLP-1s might be the tool that gets you unstuck, but what you build after that, that's where the real transformation happens. My hope is that by sharing my story and the stories of others, you'll feel less alone and more equipped to keep moving forward. Thank you for pressing play on episode 0. If this resonates, hit follow so you don't miss what's coming next. And if you're on your own GLP-1 journey, or just wondering what it could look like to finally get unstuck, this space is for you. You've got the power to shift, and this is where it starts.